Well, if I told you that not all protein is the same, 1 gram of protein with fish is not the same of 1 gram of protein through chicken breast, you're probably very shocked because all these meathead bodybuilders hardwired into your brain, put into your brain that protein is protein. You need to hit 200 grams a day or you're not going to be swole. You need to hit your protein goals, right? Protein is the only thing that matters. Go to the gym, lift some heavy weights, eat your protein. But then I've come to realize that that is not true at all. Naturals can get a lot better muscle gains or worse depending on the type of protein they eat. I'm going to put the emphasis on naturals here because when you're juiced up, this may not work for you. But as a natural, it's super important to pick quality protein instead of just picking any kind of protein, right? But the thing is, with a bodybuilder diet, I've already made a couple of videos on it. When you are juiced up, when you're injecting TRT, testosterone, if you're injecting tren, right? You don't really need testosterone because you're kind of injecting it, right? You're injecting the hormone that helps us with muscle growth, right? So you can't make any natural testosterone. But the thing with us naturals is we have to make more testosterone in order to have more muscle gains. And there are certain foods that are detrimental to the testosterone and some foods that actually help with the testosterone. But as a bodybuilder who's on steroids, you don't need to care about that. For example, you don't need to eat foods with fat. The main reason why I told naturals to eat a lot of fat is to boost the testosterone. When you're on steroids, then that shit doesn't matter. You don't need testosterone. So you could just eat chicken breast, you can eat tuna. These kind of foods, they're still decent for muscle growth, right? But they don't have a lot of micronutrients, they don't have a lot of fat, which is not really good for testosterone. So I wouldn't recommend eating those foods as naturals. You can still eat them, but there's way better options to eat. Before I get into the top 3 foods that help muscle growth and testosterone, I want to remind you that I have a free Discord server for young men on self-improvement. So if you're on self-improvement, go join that right now. We discuss about gym, testosterone. It's just a nice community where we could discuss things, have debates, and yeah, I'll see you in the server. Is in the top link in description. That goes on to my point. If the diet should be different, then the type of protein you should eat should also be different. And this is a problem with a lot of people watching these bodybuilders and their diets and their training routine. They recover differently, their body works differently, everything is just different. You can't copy what these people do and expect the same results. I'm not going to ramble on for 10 minutes and not give you any foods to eat. I'm going to give you the top 3 protein sources that I eat, and it's very, very good for not only your testosterone but amazing for muscle growth. Number 1, and this is one of my favorite foods to eat, tastes good and is just very good for you in general, and that's salmon. Mainly I'm talking about fatty fish here, but salmon is like the king of fatty fish. It's the most healthy and in my opinion it tastes the best. It has healthy fats, which we need for test. It has a lot of protein. It's actually high in calories, which is super important for bulking obviously. So if you're on a bulking phase, then salmon is a very good food to eat. And most importantly, it has a lot of omega-3s, which is super important for testosterone. And a lot of people nowadays are not eating enough omega-3s, hence why a lot of people have low testosterone. And there was a study that showed 2 groups of people. Both ate the same amount of protein, but one group, they ate omega-3 proteins. And guess what? They had more muscle results. They gained muscle faster than the other group. Think about it, more muscle gains with the same amount of protein. So don't miss out on salmon. If you can't eat it twice a week, eat it once a week. If you can't eat it once a week, eat once every 2 weeks. Just make sure you still eat it. Obviously it's ideal if you eat it 2 to 3 times a week, but a lot of people can't do that, I understand. And if you can't do that, if you live in the UK, I don't know about America, you could go to Sainsbury's, Tesco's or Aldi, wherever the fuck. You could get cans of sardines and make sure it's in olive oil, not in fucking bullshit sunflower oil. You could just eat on that. It kind of tastes horrible. If you don't like fish, you won't like this at all. I remember I made my friend try it because he started getting to the gym and he nearly vomited. So take that at your own risk. Number 2 is milk. And every time I talk about milk, there's always people that say, oh, but it's estrogenic. And I always ask, where do you hear that from? Because usually in real life, when I talk about milk, they said, oh, some guy on YouTube, and then I just know it, bro. And then we get into the conversation. It started off with some random fitness YouTuber going to another random fitness YouTuber, and then it just spread like wildfire. And no one actually debunked the myth that milk is estrogenic. When these people never saw a study in their life, they just look at someone who's credible, right? They look at someone with a degree or looks like they know what they're talking about and then just fucking listen without no evidence. For example, when Andrew Huberman probably made a mistake when he said semen retention in one study boosted testosterone by 400%. And then people were just saying 400% without actually fact checking everything. In that study, it was 145% of the baseline. And they put 145% on purpose because it sounds like so much. But if you just know maths and common sense, that's only a 45% increase. Which, don't get me wrong, is significant, but it only lasts for one day and then it goes. That's for another video. But the main estrogen that milk has is estrogen, right? And estrogen is the weakest form of estrogen that barely takes place in your body. Milk has the least amount of estradiol, which is the strongest form of estrogen, and you would need to drink about 60 to 240 liters of milk per day for it to actually have a estrogenic effect on your body. But that's with any other food and drink. If you drink or eat too much of even a healthy food, then there's going to be consequences. So milk is high in fat. People have been drinking milk since the dawn of human time. It's high in protein and is super good for muscle growth. Also, it actually has a high hydration index than water, if you didn't know that. Number 3 is eggs. I'm not egg whites, not just the fucking white bit, including the yolk. So both of them together. So literally buy eggs, put some butter on it, crack it into a pan, eat 4 a day, and I guarantee you your muscle results will be better. You'll be feeling better, your testosterone will be higher, and it's quite high in calories, so it's also quite good for bulking. It's high in protein, 6 grams of protein per egg. It's high in fats. It's very high in cholesterol, which is super good for testosterone. That's why so many people recommend eating eggs for testosterone, which rightfully so, obviously. But like I said, bodybuilders will only eat the white part. Why would they do that? Because it has more protein than the egg yolk. But for us naturals, eating with the egg yolk will make us build more muscle because it has more nutrients and help us with T. But bodybuilders are injecting steroids. All they need is protein and carbs. They don't need fat. So yeah, that has been the end of the video. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Go join a free Discord server right now. You can learn more about testosterone and muscle growth. You can discuss with people like-minded like you, interested in the same topics. And it's just a good place to be in. Good for networking, good for debates, stuff like that. So go join it right now. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.